Ever get caught in one of those, like, out of nowhere downpours? You know, the ones that make you wish you would check the weather app, like, 5 minutes earlier?
Been there.
Yeah. Well, today's deep dive, it might just convince us all that the future of forecasting, it's closer than we think.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're talking next level stuff here. We're talking tomorrow.io's successful launch. Get this, count them, two weather satellites.
Wow. Okay. And these aren't just any satellites, are they?
No, not just your average run-of-the-mill satellites. No way. We've got to unpack this a bit, And you send over this article, tomorrow.io's microwave sounder satellites capture critical atmospheric insights. A mouthful, right?
Yeah.
I know, but, the image alone of Typhoon Yagi, so it really caught my eye. But I've got to ask, what's got everyone buzzing about these new satellites? Besides the catchy title.
Well, it's all about what they've got on board, right? We're talking microwave sounders.
Microwave sounders.
Yeah, think of them kind of like super senses for these satellites. I mean, these things can see through clouds.
No way.
Oh, yeah, and measure all the important stuff. Temperature, humidity, even like how much rain or snow is coming down.
All from space.
All from space. And here's the real game changer.
Yeah.
They can do this over oceans.
Wait, really? Because isn't that like a huge gap in our weather data, right? Oceans are massive.
Huge gap. We're talking about blank spots on the map, basically, but
Yeah.
not anymore.
Wow. Okay, so they're filling in the blanks. That's huge.
Exactly. And, it's not just about, like, having complete picture. It's about the quality of the picture, right? Imagine trying to, I don't know, predict where a hurricane's going, but you're only working with data from, like, a handful of weather stations along the coast.
Okay, yeah, that doesn't sound very accurate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what we've been dealing with. But these satellites, they're changing the game.
Okay, I'm starting to see why this is a big deal. But there was something in the article, I think it was something about unprecedented sub-hourly revisit rates, whatever that means. Sounds pretty technical to me.
It does sound pretty jargony, right?
It does.
But it's actually a pretty simple idea. Imagine trying to understand what's happening in let's say a football game, but you only check the score like once an hour.
You'd miss all the action.
Exactly. You might know who's winning, but you'd miss all the important plays in between.
Right.
That's kind of how it's been with weather data up until now. These new satellites, though, they're constantly scanning, constantly sending information. We're not talking hourly updates anymore. We're talking every few minutes.
It was like switching from like a flip book to like a high-def movie of the weather.
Perfect analogy. That's exactly it. More detail, more frequently, and that is what makes for a much more accurate prediction.
Okay, so more data, better predictions, got it. But what does it actually mean for like me, the average person? How does this translate into real-world stuff?
Well, imagine knowing exactly when a hurricane is going to make landfall, down to the hour.
Oh, wow.
That kind of precision could, allow for much more targeted evacuations, maybe even save lives.
Wow, that's huge.
Right. Or picture this. You get a flash flood warning on your phone, right? But it's not just a general warning for your whole city.
Right.
It's specific to your street, and it gives you a 15-minute heads up.
Okay, now that's a personalized weather report.
Right. And it goes way beyond extreme weather. Imagine farmers using this data to know exactly when to plant, when to harvest. Less waste, better yields.
That's wild. It's like we're actually using weather data to its full potential for once.
Exactly. It's not just reacting to the weather anymore. It's being proactive.
This is already blowing my mind. And we haven't even gotten to the AI part of it all.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's a big part of this too, right?
It's huge. This is where things get really, really interesting. We're talking AI weather models.
AI weather models, okay.
Yeah. Think of them like incredibly complex computer programs that can analyze these huge, massive amounts of data that we're getting. And they use it to make predictions about future weather patterns.
So these AI models, they're already being used in forecasting.
Oh, absolutely. But here's the thing. Even the smartest AI in the world is only as good as the data you feed it.
Makes sense.
It's like, you could have the best chef in the world, but if all they have to work with are like stale ingredients.
Yeah, it's not going to be a very good meal.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm picky about where I eat. I need fresh ingredients.
Of course. And that's what tomorrow.io is doing for these AI weather models, right? They're giving them the freshest, highest quality data straight from these satellites. We're talking a game changer in terms of accuracy and detail in our forecasts. It's like we're swapping out those stale ingredients for the good stuff, the kind of stuff that makes a meal sing.
Right. Like farm to table, but for weather data.
There you go. And the best part is, this isn't some far-off thing, This is happening now.
Wait, seriously, they're already sending back data.
Oh, yeah. Those satellites are working overtime up there, beaming back tons of information, and tomorrow.io is already integrating it all into their platform, analyzing it, improving their forecasts, like, as we speak.
See, this is what I mean about next level stuff. I'm already getting ahead of myself. I know we're supposed to be deep diving into the article, but I can't help but wonder what's next. I mean, where do we even go from here?
Fasten your seatbelt, because we could be talking about a world where instead of just getting, a general forecast for your city, you're getting hyper-local predictions tailored to your exact location,
Okay, now that would be a game changer.
updated every few minutes.
No more getting caught in those surprise downpours.
Exactly. We're talking of a whole new way of living with the weather, planning your day around it with like minute-by-minute accuracy.
This is seriously blowing my mind. We're going from checking the weather app to see if we need an umbrella to like planning our lives down to the minute. This is amazing. But they didn't just stop with the satellites, right? There was something in the article about a partnership with MIT, right?
Yeah.
Something about some fancy new tech they're using.
Oh, yeah. They're working with MIT Lincoln Laboratory using something called Radiometer technology. Now, this was originally developed for a NASA mission called Tropics, focused on, understanding hurricanes better, those tropical cyclones.
Right.
And what tomorrow.io is doing is really impressive. They're taking this really, really advanced tech, NASA-level tech, and they're using it to build out their own, private constellation of weather satellites.
So it's like a win-win, right?
Yeah.
Good for science, good for dodging raindrops.
Exactly. And speaking of science, we haven't even touched on the impact this could have on climate change research.
Oh, right. I almost forgot. They did mention that in the article, something about climate models.
Yeah.
How does this all tie in?
Well, imagine it, right? This constant stream of super detailed data from space. It's like giving scientists a front row seat to how our atmosphere is changing in real time. That kind of data, it's pure gold for building those accurate climate models
Oh, I see.
and for coming up with ways to deal with it.
It's like we've been using those, those old school weather vanes this whole time.
Right.
And suddenly, bam, someone hands us a supercomputer.
That's one way to put it.
It's amazing, though, right?
Ugh.
But speaking of supercomputers and climate science, you mentioned there's still so much we don't know, right?
Oh, absolutely. That's the thing about science, right? The more we learn, the more we realize we don't know.
Which I guess could be frustrating, but it's also kind of exciting.
Yeah.
Who knows what we might discover with this new data.
Exactly. It's a whole new world of possibilities. We could be talking about predicting climate change with way more accuracy, coming up with even better solutions, stuff we haven't even thought of yet.
Right. And it all started with wanting to know if we need an umbrella or not.
Mm-hmm.
This deep dive has seriously been a wild ride.
That's the beauty of exploring, right?
It really is. It makes you wonder what's next. I mean, this all seems pretty futuristic already, but things move fast, right? Is there even a limit to how accurate these forecasts could get?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Just imagine a world where weather forecasts are so on point that we could, optimize how we use renewable energy even better than we do now.
Oh, wow.
Warn people about hyper-local, air quality changes,
Wow, that'd be amazing for people with, allergies and stuff.
Exactly. Or even, tell you the absolute best time to plant your tomatoes so you have a bumper crop.
Okay, now you're just showing off.
Just saying, the possibilities are pretty much endless.
It really does feel like we could be on the verge of, a whole new era,
Yeah.
One where we actually work with nature instead of always trying to, outsmart it.
And wouldn't that be something?
It really would. Well, for everyone listening out there who's, totally geeking out over this right now, as much as I am, any parting words of wisdom, where can we go to learn more?
Well, I always say the best place to start is the source, right? Check out tomorrow.io. They've got tons of info on their website, all about their mission, the tech behind it all, and where they see this going, which, let's be honest, is probably just the tip of the iceberg at this point.
It's so true. And I guess keep an eye on the sky, right? Because the future of weather forecasting, it's looking pretty clear from where I'm standing. Thanks for joining me on this incredible deep dive. This has been eye-opening.
The pleasure was all mine. Always happy to talk about the amazing world of weather and the tech that's changing how we understand it.
Absolutely. Until next time, this has been The Deep Dive, your shortcut to understanding the future.